Alright kids, in this video we're going to talk about using the operation keys to add and subtract, multiply and divide fractions. Alright, we've already learned how to enter fractions, so now we're going to talk about using the operations keys along with fractions. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'll walk you through this and you can follow along putting it in as I go. First thing we want to do is we're going to add and simplify if needed. So our first fraction is 3/4. So what we want to do is put in 3/4 first. We press the 3 and it's our numerator, so hit the numerator key. Tells the calculator we have our numerator and now we want our denominator, which is 4. We now want to put in the operation key of addition, so we hit addition, and then our next fraction, 11/12. So we want our numerator first, so we put in 11, and then we press the numerator key to tell the calculator we're done with our numerator. Then we put 12 in, and we are now ready to add. Alright, so we hit enter, and it will give us our product, our sum. Okay, now you can see that we get 1 8/12, which is not simplified, so we're going to hit the simplifying key. And it brings over our sum, 1 8/12, tells us we're ready to simplify, and we hit enter. That tells us now that we have a reduced fraction to 1 4/6, but it's still not in simplest terms. So we're going to hit simplify again. 1 4/6 is ready to be simplified, hit enter, and we get 1 2/3. So 3/4 plus 11/12 is equal to 1 2/3. Alright, let's clear our calculator and take a look at subtraction. Subtract and reduce if needed. Well, again, we put in our first fraction. We start with our numerator, 30, and we tell the calculator that is our numerator and we're done and ready for our denominator. Put in 32 for our denominator, and now we're done with our first fraction and we're ready for the operation key. So we hit subtraction, and now we're ready for the next fraction. 10 is our numerator, so we put 10 in first, followed by the numerator key. Tells the calculator we're now ready for our denominator of 16. Put in 16. We now have all of our fractions written out as the math sentence or the expression, and we want to hit enter to get our difference. And the difference is 10/32, which is not simplified. So let's simplify our answer by hitting the simplifying key. It's now ready to simplify 10/32, so we hit enter. And we end up with 5/16. Excuse me. Alright, so that's how you would subtract. Let's go on and take a look at some more operations. This time we're going to talk about adding and simplifying mixed numbers. Let's take and enter our first mixed number, clear our calculator. 2 is our whole number, so we're going to hit the 2 key first and then the unit key. Now we're ready for our fraction, and we want to put in our numerator 3 first. And we want to tell the calculator we're done with the numerator by hitting the N key. Now it wants our denominator, 4. So we have 2 3/4, and our operation is addition, so we put addition in. Now we're ready for our next mixed number. Start with the whole number 4. Identify that as the whole number by making it a unit designation. Now we're ready for our numerator, which is 9. And we want to tell the calculator that's our numerator by pressing the numerator key. Now we're ready for our denominator of 12. You can hit the enter key to get your sum. And you can see that we have 7 and 6/12, which is not simplified. So we want to simplify that down. Our 7 and 6/12 will now be simplified. Hit the Enter key. And we have 7 and 3/6, and we see we have the indication of the lowercase, uppercase letter exchange. We want to hit Simplify again, because we know 3/6 is not simplified. So now we have 7 and 3/6 ready to be simplified, and hit Enter. And now we're down to 7 1/2. So 2 and 3/4 plus 4 and 9/12 is equal to 7 1/2. Alrighty? Well, now that we've gone over addition and subtraction, let's take a look at multiplying. The first one that we want to multiply will be 3 and 3/4 times 4/5. Again, we clear our calculator, and the first thing we want to do is put in our first factor, which is 3/4. So we put 3 in, hit the numerator key, and now the denominator of 4. We're going to multiply, and now we're ready for our next factor. So we put 4 in, numerator key, and then 5 is our denominator. We have 3/4 times 4/5, and we're ready to hit equal. When we hit equal, we see that we have 12/20, which is not simplified, so we're ready to simplify it. Press the simplifying key, and 12/20 comes back over here, ready to be simplified. Enter. We now have, it's still not reduced to simplest form, we have 6/12 or 6/10, so we want to simplify again. 6/10 simplified equals 3/5. So 3/4 times 4/5 equals 3/5. Alright, now our last operation we're going to learn is division. Clear your calculator. Let's put in, it's 6/9 divided by 8/18. So we're going to put in our 6/9 first. So 6 is our numerator. Press 6, numerator key, ready for denominator 9. And now we're ready to hit the division key. Enter the division key, and we put in our 8/18. So we have 8, numerator key, denominator 18, and we're ready to get our quotient. Equals, and we get 1 and 36/72. That is not simplified because we have the lowercase letters pointing to the, or I'm sorry, the uppercase letters pointing to lowercase letters. So what we're going to hit it, simplifying key, and we're going to simplify 1 and 36/72 down to 1 and 18/36. Still not simplified, so let's simplify it even further. 1 and 18/36, 1 and 18/36 simplified gives us 1 and 9/18. Well, at this point in time, you probably know that it's going to be 1 1/2, but the calculator is only going to step us down marginally, so we simplify again, enter, and we get 1 and 3/6. We're getting closer to 1 and 1/2. Simplify, enter, 1 and 1/2. So that's how you do the basic operations on the TI-15. Hopefully this will help you out in class as well as on PSSA.